It's been a rough weekend for crypto. The pain continues, and it started with October. That was a busto. November's not looking much better. And the same question is on everyone's mind. Is the pain going to continue? Are we heading into a full-fledged bear market that's long-lasting? Thought this was a great write-up here. What is happening in crypto? Over the last 41 days, crypto has erased 1.1 trillion in market cap, or think of this, $27 billion a day. Absolutely mind-boggling here. The crypto market is now 10% below levels seen during the record-setting 19 billion liquidation on October 10th. So we're trading even lower than that. And this is a structural move. So what they go on to explain in this letter here is the fact that there's so much leverage in crypto, ridiculous amounts of leverage that you don't see in other markets. And when we had that cascading effect, it caused a structural problem. But the reality is this, behind the scenes, every day, great news, new announcements, new adoptions, ETFs launching. It's never been better for crypto. Markets always eventually correct to value. And in their opinion, we are close to the bottom and we will see this market correct. And I agree. I think that's what we're seeing. We're kind of flushing out all those problems we had on that huge liquidation day on October 10th. But you look at the news, you look at the reality of what's happening, and it's never been better for cryptocurrencies. Now, when we look at this, Bitcoin, year to date, back to where we started. All the ups, all the downs, all the drama. It's been an exercise in nothing. We're all the way back to the beginning. Same thing with XRP. Well, if you hold XRP on January 1st, you're about back where you were. After all of this stuff, ups and downs all over the place, you're right back to January 1st prices. And to me, this is the staging zone where we go on to new highs. We'll have to see. A lot of people are saying, no, it's over. It's all over, Red Rover. In my mind, really, we're looking at NVIDIA on Wednesday. It's not about the earnings. Those are going to be lights out. We know that. If they make a card, it's sold. It's sold a long time ago. It's going to be the guidance. Can they calm the market? Because everyone's so concerned that the AI bubble is getting ready to pop. You have OpenAI saying they may need some money from government. Just all sorts of concerns out there. You had a 5.8 billion sell of NVIDIA stock by SoftBank. Of course, someone else bought a bunch of NVIDIA stock. There's always a flip side, isn't there? And so can he get out there? Can Jensen get out there and remind everyone how important this technology is and how bright the future is? If he does that, it's going to be off to the races for financial markets and also cryptocurrencies. I think it's just a matter of time, and I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Now, risk, are we going to drop below $2? Well, it could happen, especially if this AI fear, this AI bubble fear, if that doesn't go away, you're going to see distress in financial markets and you're going to see a lot of distress in crypto. It absolutely could happen, even though I'm looking for big things this week upcoming. We'll see it play out. Ripple RLUSD stablecoin, a new catalyst for XRP. I think this is the most misunderstood advancement in XRP ledger history. The little bit of payments we lose because Ripple's using RLUSD instead of XRP is de minimis. This lets us pipe directly into TradFi. We're able to move value onto and off of the blockchain easily, efficiently, at low cost. This is going to give us so much more liquidity on chain where it matters. XRP is going to be more usable, more valuable. This is a huge advancement. Those payments that Ripple was making with XRP, did they do anything for your value? Did it change your life? It doesn't mean anything. But what it is it's like the Trojan horse. It allows us to integrate directly with institutions, which is the game changer, which is going to make a huge difference over the long haul. It's an advantage that other blockchains had that we did not, and now we're on an even playing field. It's going to make a difference over the long run. I thought this was a great post by Fabio, co-founder of the Zhao DAO. He says, why? Why is XRP down after the launch of the first ETF? And he goes on to say, in my opinion, many people thought XRP would shoot up right away, but it didn't. And there's a straightforward reason. He goes on to discuss the market mechanics. Like when you buy an ETF, that dollar doesn't automatically flow to XRP. Yes, they have to settle in the open market, but it's not in real time. That doesn't happen. Further, we had $58 million in inflows, people. This is a multi-billion, volume market. That's not going to move the needle a whole lot. Further, on the same day we had the launch, we had turmoil in the crypto market. Bitcoin going down, Ethereum going down, other altcoins. XRP is going to follow that market trend. We understand that. That's just the way this works. Plus, XRP is a big supply, and when large holders sell, it's going to cancel out any upwards movement. It's about not one ETF on one day. It's about multiple that will be launching and multiple inflows over a very long period of time with very sticky investments where people aren't trading and selling and panicking. They're just accumulating over a long term. We see that in Bitcoin right now with Harvard, where they keep upping their investment in Bitcoin. They're not doing that to flip it 30 days from now for a small profit. That's a long-term and sticky investment, and that's going to continue to really go throughout cryptocurrencies as these products launch. And a small amount from an endowment like that, or some big hedge fund or something like that, it's going to make a huge difference. Again, with just 1% of Harvard's money going into Bitcoin, it's the 16th largest holder of IBIT. So small percentages make a big difference over the long haul, and we're going to see that happen with XRP. Now, bottom line, he says an ETF doesn't pump the price right away, and that's true. We saw that with the Bitcoin ETF. The real effect shows up later, once the ETF provider starts buying XRP to back the fund, and in a major way, in a cumulative way over a period of time. And this is really the advice here. Stay patient. The real movement tends to come quietly at first, then all at once. And that's how XRP has always acted. It does absolutely nothing. It puts you to sleep, and then bam, out of nowhere, it goes on a huge run. That's what's going to happen this way again. I thought that was a great post by Fabio. Now, down below, we get a link to the Zhao DAO. The XRP ledger, it's always had the technology. What it hasn't had yet is the voice. That is what the DAO is here to build. Right now, we're making our final push to 1,000 members, the threshold that unlocks real decentralized governance for the XRP ledger. Join the Zhao DAO today. $10 payable in XRP for a lifetime membership. This is the next chapter of XRP's evolution here. Join the DAO. Link down below and in the pinned comment. Now, Chad has a great point here, and I want to talk about this. I see a lot of people out there that go, well, they'll just always buy OTC. Look, the over-the-counter market, it's not some magical market that never runs out of supply. And if you're a big holder, why would you want to keep the price low and continue? It's great if you're trying to offload, a big stack of crypto, but it's not infinite. It will always eventually dry up. And then you're going to see these ETFs, these big buyers, they're going to have to dip into the spot market and buy supply. And that's where it starts having a big effect. Yeah, right now, maybe there's plenty of volume, plenty of supply on the over the counter, but it won't always be like that, especially when this market turns bullish. People don't want to sell. People are buying. That's what's going to happen. Again, they will have to move over to the spot market. There is not infinite and magical over-the-counter markets with, unlimited supply. That's not a real thing. It's going to happen, and that's really where we're going to see a big move there. Peter Schiff calls strategy model fraud and challenges Saylor to a debate. Look, I'm not going to say it's a fraud. I mean, he's pretty open. Michael Saylor tells you exactly what he's going to do. He's going to borrow money to infinity. He's never going to earn any cash flows or have a real business where he can service that debt. And he hopes that Bitcoin never hits any long and sustained, bear markets where it's going to liquidate him at the wrong time. This isn't going to work in my opinion, but it's not a fraud. He's quite transparent about what he's doing. Now, even worse on top of it, he's got these preferred stocks where he has to pay out a dividend, which he doesn't have a business to actually cash flow those payments. And he just needs Bitcoin really to perpetually continue to go up in a really, significant way with no long-term downturns. If he can't make those dividend payments, he's not going to be able to get more money. If he can't get more money, he's not going to be able to buy Bitcoin, and therefore you're not going to have a premium on his company. It's not really a fraud. I think it's just a really bad business. But if people choose to invest in it, knowing that, well, that's kind of their own fault, in my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.
Michael, given where Bitcoin's trading right now, are you buying?
We are buying. We're buying quite a lot, actually, and we'll actually report our next buys on Monday morning. I think people will be pleasantly surprised. In fact, we've been accelerating our purchases.
Are you ever not buying, Michael?
No, we're always buying. Bitcoin's always a good investment.
But no, that's interesting, though, in terms of buying today at $95,364 versus buying 2 or 3 weeks ago. You're saying you were buying at both. If you were looking over the last year, sort of at your average, do you weight the buying based on trading?
We now own nearly 3.1% of the network, and we bought it on a blended average about $74,000 a coin.